evening, everybody, and thank you for coming this evening. I would like to share a little bit of my world with you and also tell you how this exhibition was actually born. Just to give you a little background about my art and especially what led me to come up with the idea and create this exhibition. There are few welder artists in Israel. I'm not the only crazy one. What I'm trying to do is really use this muscular material, hard material, and put emotions in and tell a story. And usually what I'm doing is I'm sculpting objects that represent people. For me, sometimes when you see something, you can think about someone who is wearing it or using it. You will see some examples later. Now, I hope you saw the video of me in the studio, and you know when I'm buying tools from catalogs, there are never women you don't see pictures of women in those catalogs, and there are always men standing like this on heavy I-beams. And one day I decided that I want to teach them a lesson. And I created this sculpture. For me, the ballet slipper represents women, femininity, and art. And look how it is stronger than the I-beam, but very gently controlling it. So for me, this is a little bit like a self-portrait of the woman who works with the iron. Then I looked at it and I decided to make more objects that are very feminine. And I think that if I would let someone else weld, I will never get to the techniques and the language that I developed through the years. So the dress, the small dress, is a childhood dress. That is a lot of my expressions are from childhood memories, and you'll see it later. And my mother's and grandmother's art with fabric that I express in different ways. This is iron. And now, the iron allows me also to make minimalistic works that hold themselves, because it's not clay that you have to, I don't know if you know the difference between working with the metal or creating with clay and give it out to be cast in bronze. This is totally different. When I use the iron, it's like you take a cardboard, cut and glue, and this is what I do with the material. So I'll show you a few of my more minimalistic works. This is my classroom. One child, I don't know if it's me or somebody else, just was lazy enough not to put the chair on the table. Then I have my library. It can be mine, it can be yours, it can be a monument for the books that we're using, the world will not have books in the quite near future. And also the burning of the books in Europe. So and the iron, when it stands, when I weld it, it can stand for itself without all the parts holding it. So these are my minimalistic works. Now, I grew up in a family that my parents came from Europe. And Israel is actually like America, like the United States. People came from all over. My parents came before the Holocaust, before World War II, but they were like newcomers to Israel. And then my father, as he said before he passed away, he said, I was crazy. He used to move every year and a half or 2 years to another new apartment. We're not painting, we're moving. So moving and wandering, and are part of my personal life, and I think this is one of the reasons that the refugees are so close to my heart, in a different way, because we were not refugees, thank God. So I had an exhibition that I called Permanently Temporary. This was my father. He was permanently temporary. And this sculpture that you see here in the exhibition, I chose few older words for this exhibition because it goes very well with the theme of entire life in a package. So this is one. Then this I think you saw in the exhibition. It's me. I grew up in boxes. This is what I felt, that I grew up in boxes. And another one that really, I'm sorry that it's not here because it's in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Jerusalem, and it's this sculpture. You see the contrast between the suitcase that is moving and the roots that are staying. And for me, the beginning people said, you know, it's the wandering Jew, it's the Israelis coming from Europe or from all around to Israel. But at the same time, I think I can put it in Alice Island. Just the same as here. And this shows the idea of someone that wants to be accepted in a new place. And it goes, I think, very well with the theme of this exhibition here. Now, sometimes I'm participating in a group exhibition where the curator is giving us, the artists, a theme that either you create into or you find something in your studio that fits the theme. One of the exhibitions was in Haifa. It was an exhibition that Arab and Jewish artists are showing together, which is, I think, very important to participate in an exhibition like this. And the theme was open house. Think for a minute, what would you create for the theme of open house? I didn't want to make a door, keys, window, a Bedouin tent of hosting. I didn't want to do something that is very obvious. So I thought, who lives in an open house? And the first idea was a bird, because birds live in a nest that is open. And the next idea was this sculpture that you see here, that I call open house. And this guy, him or she, lives in an open house maybe because there is no open house to accept them. So this is quite, I made it many years ago, and it goes with me, and it also fitted this exhibition very well in my feelings. Now here you can see, I put this, how I made it, piece by piece by piece, and someone said, so it's the welding piece by piece. Someone said, you know, it's muscular material, but this is a very feminine solution. No man will think about sewing it like a quilt.